Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial video for our new utility website, CasinoStrategiesGPT.com. All right, so you will, if you're new, if you haven't seen the brand new utility website that is in beta launch, what are you waiting for? So it's a lot of fun. It doesn't cost any money. And we have built it for the entire community of people that love to check things out, develop strategies, want a real picture of payouts, odds, probabilities, and not just mythology and ridiculous things that you hear. We actually take it seriously, and that's how we work. And that's how we create strategies and concepts. So one of the biggest tools we use, I showed you on the last video, which was the casino compound calculator. So the calculator is more of a where could we be, kind of a little look into the future when we play with compound interest and things like that. Well, I'm going to jump back over to the actual primary utility, which is the Strategy GPT bot. So I'm going to click here. And again, if you guys haven't done this, when you get to this page for the first time, you can use this as a guest. But the real way to use this is to register. There'll be a registration on the right-hand side as a full member so that you can use this and access this all the time and not on a limited basis. And it'll keep all of your queries and prompts and information here. So you do want to register to open this up completely and to get the other benefits that are going to be coming in the near future as we build this out even more. All right, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you, on the last video, I showed you the basic way that I look at creating prompts. The drill down method, if you remember. Not to just throw 800 things into this little box here and magically look for one simple holy grail answer, but to ask it specific questions and to use those answers to keep drilling down on a potential concept or thought that you may have that may turn into a strategy idea, right? Not just try to just throw it in here and get a magical answer. Or what's the greatest thing I can do on craps or this or that. That's nonsense. That's not the way that you use AI. You start with a premise or a kernel or an idea, and you ask it a very tight question, and you continue down that path, asking it further questions and evaluation as it's giving you answers. Well, today I'm going to show you a different thing or a different way of using this concept. So instead of asking it questions because I want to understand the odds or the probability, I'm going to look at it more from a data concept. I don't know what I'm going to call this. I do this when I'm looking at a date, like instead of doing hundreds of tests manually, which I still do, this is going to give me a quick snapshot that tells me something instantly without doing all the manual testing. Now, I want to preface this. There is absolutely no way that you should use any strategy or test a concept without doing it manually with other simulators and going through the paces to see how it actually plays out. So this video could be very long, so I'm just going to make this next statement and move on. Those people, I love the way that sounds. It sounds like I'm just, like being negative, but that's not what I mean. There are people on YouTube that are addicted to using bots to test casino systems. The information they provide is very, very helpful. But I'm going to tell you, as somebody that's been doing this for years, that you cannot rely on a bot or a quick computer test that I don't care if you do 1,000 bots that some of these guys do or whatever they do, or 500,000 result tests. Those are wonderful to look at. They're fun to look at. They do give a glimpse of data that is important. I am not putting it down. But what I'm going to tell you is that when you test things in that way, you are missing the boat tremendously. You, as a human being, are not going to sit down and play every result for the next 10,000 spins at the MGM. I can assure you of that, right? So when you rely on a bot or some type of simulation as your only means of testing a concept or a strategy, you are getting absolutely false data that is never going to connect to reality. It's either going to be way better than anything you will ever experience, or way worse. And by the way, it's usually way worse, because there's no human element stopping you and capturing those units and walking away. Because those bots they're not set up for that. They're set up for the next 10,000 spins or 10,000 results at Baccarat or craps. You are not a robot. Second of all, the emotion and human elements are not put into those 1,000 bot tests that these people are doing. Are they helpful? Yes. Yes. But do not rely on those data sets or any data set that's run like that to give you a full glimpse and picture of what it is like to play any strategy. I don't care what any of these guys say. That is not reality in any way, shape, or form. And I'm going to tell you why. You can take that same 10,000 set of data and you can give it to me. And I've done this for years. And I can stop without seeing the next result, so that I'm not cheating or curve fitting or looking ahead or any of that nonsense. And I can play it as if I was literally playing manually, and based on tight win targets and other things that go into the decision making that are not codable, I will be stopping with a loss for a session when they would not be stopping. I will be stopping with a win where they will not be stopping. I will be stopping before a win target for various reasons. And I will go over my win target for various reasons. So the same results I get from the same 10,000 results is never going to be what the computer bots will show you. Okay, so now that I've given you the good and the bad, now I'm going to go the other direction, and I'm going to show you how it still is viable to use AI to also do block testing, not as the holy grail, but to simply assist us in various ways as we're building strategies, testing strategies and concepts and ideas. So now I went from the negative and I'm going to switch to the positive. So we are now going to use our AI strategy GPT to show you how it does make sense to give us a glimpse, not the end result, but a glimpse using a big data set. So what I'm going to do, and again, please do not look at this as a strategy. I'm doing this to teach you another way of using this utility that is a helpful tool, nothing more than a tool. All right, so you guys know that I love the 410, and the relationship between the 4 and the 10 and the 7 in craps. So does Wayland's way craps, right? Wayland uses the same thing that I do. He has lots of methods that take advantage of the math. With the 4 and the 10, each one of those has 3 ways to be made. The 4 has 3 ways to be made using 2 dice. The 10 has 3 ways to be made. The 7 has 6 ways to be made. So there are many strategies that we utilize that take advantage of that the relationship when you combine the 4 and the 10 versus the 7, which is exactly the same amount of combinations. The 4 and the 10 have 6 ways to be made, and so does the 7. And we have multiple strategies, including one of the latest courses that we just put out, the 410 Project Craps Mastery, right? That takes advantage solely of this relationship and crafts over 6 different concepts and strategies that take advantage of that math. So now I'm going to show you a simple way of using AI and using not bots necessarily, but a simple way of evaluating different data sets, right? Just to get a glimpse of things, not to say something is 100% or not, because there's no such thing. So I want to feed it this information. So this is how I'm going to structure the prompt, okay? This is how I'm going to structure the prompt. Please provide the following data results using 10,000, and you can do anything you want. I'm just picking 10,000. Oops, data. It would be good if I actually spelled it correctly, right? Data. Using a 10,000 run of craps rolls with 2 dice. Okay. So now I told it what I want the run to be, the game, right? And now I'm going to ask it for the following information. Number 1, how many results, how many dice roll results, let's do it like this. How many rolls resulted in a total of 4 how many rolls resulted in a total of 10 how many rolls resulted in a total of either of 4 and 10. And you guys understand why I'm asking that, right? Because the 4 and the 10 together, the combinations of both equal 6. So I want to see it individually, and I want to see it separately. Okay. And now, oh, shoot. I hit it too quickly. All right, I meant to ask it another, I need to know how many 7s were rolled. So let's get the answer to this, and then I'll ask it. Okay. Okay, so this gives us the actual math which is phenomenal. Like I told you of what are the combinations to make a 4 and a 10, right? It shows you the actual formula, so nobody is claiming something that's magical and mystery. It's an exact formula, right? It's giving you the expected results, but now it's giving you a simulation. This is the expected, right? So you can look at the expected. Let's take a look at that because it's very important to understand how much data this thing is giving us. Rolls resulting in a total of 4 expected by the math should be about 833. Of course, the math by getting the 10 is the same as the 4, so it's the same thing, 833, right? So the total of the 4s and 10s would be approximately 1,667 times out of the 10,000. Right? Okay. Now, based on this simulated rolls, which is what a bot would do, right? It's giving us the exact amount, right? So basically, this is giving us the what it should be, the summary of the simulated run, okay? So these are the expected outcomes on the probabilities, about 1667. All right, now let's ask it the question that we didn't ask. How many how many rolls would 7 have been the result? How many rolls would have had a 7 as a result in the run above? Okay. That was the other one that we needed. Okay. So it's giving us the same thing again, but now it's giving us the how many 7s, right? How many 7s would have rolled, the 10,000, blah, blah, blah. Here's all the ways you can make a 7, by the way, right? There are 6 combinations to make the 7. Just like the 4 and the 10 together, like I said, right? So here's your formula. Thus the probability of rolling a total of 7 is 16.67% of the time, right? So when we use that over 10,000 rolls, guess what? It's 1,667. So the total amount of 7s, probability-wise, is exactly the same number as the 4 and the 10 combined for the 10,000. So now, what does this say to us if we're thinking of this, if you're looking at this as a concept, or you saw it from Waylon, or you saw it from me? It means that the probability, it's not us thinking something, it's reality, because we've proven it in the probabilities using the formulas, that out of 10,000 rolls, 1,667 will be a 7, and 1,667 will be a combination of the 4 and the 10. Okay? So we've now gotten to a point, and we've reviewed this slowly to understand the math, the reality of it, right? And we can now ask it to do even more than that. Can you run another random 10,000 spin test and give the same data. And let's see if it can come back and give us that data. Okay, so it knows exactly what I want to do. All right, so what it's giving me here is another situation that most people don't know that the AI can even do. It's telling us that it's not going to give us the random data here. I don't know why that's happening because normally I do get it. But what it ended up giving us is the actual code, Python code, right here. And if you go online, you can find a simple Python code in, where you can upload this code, right? And you'll be able to hit the button over and over and over again. Now, we do this in Excel spreadsheets, just so you know, right? So we take this code and we build this into a Excel spreadsheet. Or using this Python code, right? We do this and we just hit the button over and over again, and we will get the result of how many in that 10,000 will be 4s, how many will be 10s, how many will be 7s. Okay? And then we get this simple, thing. And what happens is we can then evaluate. Look at what ends up happening when we do this. We can run this 10,000 simulation 5 times, 8 times, 10 times, 50 times. And what we end up getting from that is an overall perspective on how far the rubber band can be stretched in this specific, what I'm showing you here, of how far it can be stretched from how many 7s to how many 4s and 10s. And how far the rubber band can be stretched in either direction. Okay? So this is exactly how we utilize and gain the knowledge to be able to do further testing and evaluations and feel comfortable manually moving forward with manual tests that obviously take a hell of a lot more time. But we get so much more out of the manual tests because they feel like a human being. It's a human being. You're doing the test on whatever it is. But to get to the point of doing it live in testing, we will utilize AI to give us the probabilities and the real math that says, okay, there's something real here. We have seen enough and we've gone down the chain enough to understand that it's time to now put this into a manual focus by testing something manually against a random number generator or against our real results that we have from the casinos that we have in our database, which is even better, right, than using Wizard of Odds or something like that. And then if you want to go further, you can create an Excel spreadsheet that'll give you the random results or a Python code that'll allow you to do things like this. This is how you use AI without simply saying, I'm going to close my eyes and run this strategy exactly using coded rules and make a determination whether it's good or bad. Because it's meaningless. And I know people are going to take this the wrong way. But I'm telling you that whatever your 10,000 bot coding nonsense is not the way that we play. And by the way, it's not the way that any human being plays. So, it's not just me or you. All right? Nobody sits at a table and does 100,000 results at a craps table without taking a break and plays the same system exactly details without any human interference whatsoever. Okay? But there is value in this, in understanding the probabilities and the math. This is how you use AI. This is how you evaluate numbers and concepts. And then you take this and you keep tweaking and asking the AI further questions. And sometimes you get off track and you go to the left or the right because that's where it takes you. And that's where the information takes you when you're drilling down. So I hope you understand that I'm only opening the door for you to see how we use AI. And it's not asking it the Holy Grail question. It's not asking it to give us the magical mystery of the greatest system that ever lived. This is how you use AI. To verify something that someone is telling you. To verify and understand the probabilities behind a concept. Or see if there is probabilities and odds behind a concept. So this is just another video to open your eyes as to how we use and how you should be using this new tool. All right? Play with it. Get better with it. And you're going to be happier for doing it. Because the more you use this tool, the more that your brain starts to figure out how to use it properly. And believe me, you will not believe the things you can do with this tool. And where it takes your mind and your ability to focus and think about things that you never thought before. All right, so that's another tutorial video, guys. We will always continue to show you new ways of using this. And we'll go from there, and we will see you on the next video.